I thought I knew what betrayal looked like, until the day my own sister looked me in the eyes and destroyed everything I had built. This is the only story you need to hear about trust and betrayal, because what happened next changed not just my life, but how I see every relationship around me. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted completely, this story will shake you to your core. Stay with me, because by the end of this true betrayal story, you'll understand why sometimes the people closest to us are capable of the deepest wounds, and why that might actually be a gift in disguise. My name is Sarah, and for 28 years, I believed that family meant everything. I grew up in a small town in Ohio where everyone knew everyone, and trust wasn't just given, it was sacred. My sister Emma and I were inseparable. We shared everything: clothes, secrets, dreams, and even our deepest fears about the future. When I turned 25, I decided to start my own business, a small boutique that specialized in handmade jewelry and vintage clothing. It wasn't just a dream, it was my escape plan from a life that felt too small, too predictable. Emma was my biggest supporter. She helped me choose the location, design the interior, and even invested her own savings, $15,000, to help me get started. "We're going to build this together," she said, holding my hands as we stood in the empty storefront for the first time. "Sisters forever, right? Sisters forever." Those words meant everything to me. Emma wasn't just my business partner, she was my confidant, my cheerleader, and my best friend. We worked 16-hour days together, laughing through the exhaustion, celebrating every small victory. Within 2 years, our little boutique had become the talk of the town. We were featured in local magazines, and customers drove from neighboring cities just to shop with us. I trusted Emma with everything: my bank accounts, my passwords, my future. Why wouldn't I? She was my sister. The first sign something was wrong came on a Tuesday morning in March. I arrived at the store to find Emma already there, which wasn't unusual, except she was on the phone, speaking in hushed tones. When she saw me, she quickly hung up and smiled, but it was different. Forced. Strained. "Who was that?" I asked casually, hanging up my coat. "Oh, just a supplier. Nothing important." But suppliers didn't usually make Emma look nervous. Over the next few weeks, I noticed more changes. Emma started arriving early and staying late, always with explanations that seemed perfectly reasonable. She was organizing inventory, or working on the books, or planning our spring collection. Then I started noticing discrepancies. Small ones at first: receipts that didn't match our records, inventory that seemed lower than it should be, customers mentioning purchases that weren't in our system. When I brought these concerns to Emma, she always had an answer. "Maybe you forgot to log that sale. The supplier probably shorted us, you know how they are." "Are you sure you're remembering correctly?" That last comment stung. Emma had never questioned my memory before, never made me doubt myself. But she was so confident, so matter-of-fact, that I started wondering if maybe I was making mistakes. Maybe the stress of running a business was getting to me. The phone calls became more frequent. Emma would step outside to take them or wait until she thought I wasn't listening. I tried to give her privacy. We all deserve our secrets, right? But something felt wrong. the sister I had shared everything with, was suddenly living a life I knew nothing about. One evening, I decided to check our business accounts online, something I hadn't done in months because I trusted Emma to handle the financial details. What I found made my blood run cold. Money was missing. Not just a little, thousands of dollars, transferred out in small amounts over the past 6 months. The transfers were made to an account I didn't recognize, always when I wasn't at the store, always with Emma's digital signature. My hands were shaking as I printed the bank statements. There it was, in black and white, systematic theft from our joint business account. Emma, the sister I trusted with everything, had been stealing from me for half a year. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at those bank statements until the numbers blurred together, trying to find any explanation that didn't involve Emma betraying me. Maybe there was a mistake. Maybe someone had hacked our account. Maybe there was something I didn't understand about business finances. But deep down, I knew the truth. The late arrivals, the secretive phone calls, the way she'd been avoiding eye contact, it all made perfect sense now. The next morning, I confronted her. I walked into the store with the bank statements in my hand, and when Emma saw them, her face went completely white. "I can explain," she said immediately. "Can you?" I asked. "Can you explain why you've been stealing from our business for 6 months? Can you explain why my own sister has been lying to my face every single day?" Emma's facade crumbled. The tears came first, then the excuses. She was in debt from gambling, a habit I never knew she had. She had borrowed money from dangerous people and needed to pay them back. She was planning to return everything once she got back on her feet. She never meant for it to go this far. "I was protecting you," she said through her tears. "If those people knew about the business, they might have come after both of us. I thought I could handle it alone." Protecting me? By betraying me? By stealing from our shared dream and making me question my own sanity for months? But the worst part wasn't the money. It wasn't even the lies. The worst part was what she said next. "I never wanted to be your partner anyway. I only invested because Mom and Dad said I should help you. I've been planning to leave for months." In that moment, I realized that everything I thought I knew about my sister, about our relationship, about the foundation of trust we had built over 28 years, was a lie. The person standing in front of me wasn't the Emma who had held my hand in that empty storefront. This was someone I had never truly known at all. The days after the confrontation were the darkest of my life. I had to make impossible decisions, press charges against my own sister, or try to save a business that might already be doomed. Tell my parents what Emma had done, or protect them from the truth that would shatter our family. Emma left town 2 days after our confrontation. She didn't say goodbye, didn't try to apologize again, didn't attempt to make things right. She just disappeared, leaving me alone with a failing business, a pile of debt, and the devastating realization that the person I had trusted most in the world was capable of destroying me without hesitation. I spent weeks in that empty store, sitting among the jewelry and vintage clothes we had chosen together, trying to understand how I had been so blind. How had I missed the signs? How had someone who knew me better than anyone been able to deceive me so completely? The answer came to me slowly, painfully, Emma had been able to betray me so effectively precisely because I trusted her completely. She knew exactly which buttons to push, which explanations I would accept, how to make me doubt myself instead of doubting her. But in that darkness, something unexpected happened. I discovered a strength I never knew I had. For the first time in my life, I was completely alone with my decisions, my future, my dreams, and that was terrifying and liberating in equal measure. I could have given up. I could have closed the store, declared bankruptcy, and spent the rest of my life bitter about family betrayal and broken trust. Many people would have understood that choice. Instead, I chose to rebuild, not just my business, but my understanding of trust itself. I reached out to other local business owners, people I had admired from a distance but never thought to connect with. I discovered a community of entrepreneurs who had faced their own betrayals, their own setbacks, their own moments of crushing doubt. They didn't just offer advice, they offered partnership, friendship, and a new kind of trust, one built on mutual respect and shared goals rather than blood relations. Within a year, I had not only recovered the money Emma had stolen, but I had expanded into 2 new locations. I learned to read financial statements, to trust my instincts when something felt wrong, and to build relationships based on actions rather than promises. Most importantly, I learned that betrayal, while devastating, had taught me the difference between blind trust and earned trust. Blind trust is what I had given Emma, complete faith without verification, loyalty without boundaries. Earned trust is what I now practice with everyone in my life, faith built on consistent actions, loyalty that requires mutual respect. Emma never returned. I heard through family friends that she had moved across the country and was working to pay off her debts. Part of me will always love the sister I thought I knew, but I've made peace with the fact that person may have never truly existed. The betrayal that nearly destroyed me ultimately freed me to become someone stronger, more independent, and more discerning about who deserves access to my heart and my trust. If you're watching this because someone you trusted has betrayed you, I want you to know something. The pain you're feeling right now is real, and it's valid, but it's not permanent. Betrayal reveals truth, not just about the person who hurt you, but about your own capacity for resilience. The people who betray us often do us an unexpected favor. They force us to develop discernment, to build better boundaries, and to discover strength we never knew we possessed. They teach us that real trust must be earned, not assumed. Your story of betrayal is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter where you get to decide who deserves your trust, your loyalty, and your faith. If this true betrayal story resonated with you, please subscribe to 30 Minutes of Courage for more stories of resilience and transformation. Share your own experiences with betrayal in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Remember, you are stronger than the worst thing that has been done to you. Your courage is the only story that truly matters. Until next time, keep finding your courage.